Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Partners, your favorite online series giving the floor to session organizers of the European Week of Regions and Cities. I'm Betty from the European Committee of the Regions, and together with Manu from DG Regio, we will be your hosts for today. Today's session is dedicated to citizens' engagement, which is together with green transition, digital transition, and cohesion, one of the 4 topics that co-create this year's edition of eRegions Week. Another novelty this year is that eRegions Week has an official app. So you can just easily download it to your phone and go through all the 300 and more sessions that we are preparing. And today we're going to learn more about some of them. So it is a pleasure to welcome 3 very special guests. Angela Simone from Fondazione Giano Bassetti, who is Transform Project Coordinator. Hello. Then Angela Pereira from the European Commission's Joint Research Center. And Sally Hardy, a CEO of Regional Studies from RSA, which is Regional Studies Association. Welcome on board. So I'm pretty sure there's plenty of things to discuss today. So Manu, over to you.
Thank you, Betty. So let's start with the very first question. So I will start with Sally. Could you quickly introduce yourself, your organization, and tell us a bit more about your participation in the Regions Week?
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to join in this session. So my name's Sally Hardy. I'm the Chief Executive of the Regional Studies Association. The association is a learned society. Really, that's a kind of club for academics, researchers, policymakers and practitioners. So we're brought together by a common interest in regional development and policy at the subnational level. I'm also the General Manager of RSA Europe, and that's the organisation based in Brussels through which we do our work with the EU institutions.
Please go ahead.
The main objective of our work is to support our membership and the wider community interested in regional challenges. And we do that by sharing the results of research with the worlds of policy and practice. And we do it through a process of knowledge mobilization, which I'll talk a little bit about later. Thank you.
And this year you are coming to the eRegions Week with not 1, but 14 sessions.
14 sessions. So we're taking part in the Regions Week University with 10 sessions. We have sessions in the Regions Week College, which is aimed at bringing PhD students and early career researchers together with EU officials to talk about what's happening in cohesion policy. And then finally, we're rounding up with one of the exhibitors' pitches, where we're looking at the role of universities in their regions. So the title of that session is Putting Universities in Their Place.
Okay. And what about you, Angela Pereira from the GRC, a colleague from the Joint Research Center? What are you preparing for this eRegions Week?
So we are showcasing a project called Biodiversities that is focusing on green infrastructure. It is running in 12 different European Union cities. And we are actually convinced that this is a project from which we can learn a lot on what is needed to create locally the participatory and deliberative infrastructure.
And what is the name of the project?
Biodiversities.
Okay, thank you, Angela. Yeah, it's a tricky name. And now we pass to Angela Simone from the Transform Project. What can you tell us about your organization and your participation in the eRegions Week?
I come from Bassetti Foundation, which is a civil society organization based in Italy, but acting internationally. Whose mission is to promote responsible innovation. Bassetti Foundation is the coordinator of this European funded project called Transform. And the scope of this project is to introduce sound citizen engagement methodologies in 3 regions in Europe, Catalonia in Spain, Lombardy in Italy, and Brussels capital in Belgium, introducing citizen engagement methods in the policy making, the regional policy making, especially in the context of research and innovation and in the smart specialization strategies. So during our event, which is a participatory lab, we would like to present our experience, but also listen to the experience of the attendees, of the participants, in order to share perspectives, insights, but also challenges in grounding citizen engagement in local policymaking.
Okay, thank you. And with you three already, we can see how much, what a rich variety of sessions and partnerships this Regions Week has to offer this year. Angela, I will stay with you, and we come to the promotional part of the interview. Why should viewers sign up for your session?
As I said before, we are the focus on smart specialization strategy and on research innovation related policies, which are very key, we know, for try to solve out grand societal challenges like climate change, or also the pandemics that everyone we are living nowadays. So the policies for research and innovation are really key also for the local territories. And we would like to present our experiences, but we would like to co-create, let's say, together with all the attendees, what are the best practices, what are also the challenges, I said before, in order to map a little bit what are the experiences at local level in citizen engagement experiences in Europe. So can be a chance to learn a little bit about citizen engagement, but also to promote their experiences that cities or regions or policymakers and practitioners of citizen engagement across Europe are implementing in Europe.
Thank you, Angela. And Sally, why should viewers sign up for your sessions?
I think what we're bringing this time and always is the best research that's being done in Europe particularly, but in a very accessible way for the policy community to absorb. And I think that the university sessions in particular offer an opportunity for regional policymakers to benchmark what they're doing on particular topics, to see what others are doing, and perhaps even more importantly, to see where the research is leading us. So what are the new theoretical innovations that we're coming to as a research community that will be filtering down to the policy community? Some of the topics that we're addressing this year, and we're doing this in partnership with 2 other learned societies, ESOP, a community of planners, and the European Regional Science Association. So the three of us work together over the university sessions. We're looking at things like regional and urban development, border cooperation. We're honing in on things like sustainable food systems. A very important topic this year is digital tools and post-COVID recovery. I can see that being of interest to a wide variety of people. And we're also bringing in elements around equality, diversity and inclusion, looking at entrepreneurship and non-traditional entrepreneur groups and what they have to add to the regions in which they operate.
So you're bringing a lot of experts, a lot of students to the event, and I will jump on this, and I'm sure that the networking offered by the app that you can download on your mobile phones would be very, very useful for all of them. And by the way, I've spotted on the Conference of Europe, the platform, some of your events, and it's a good move. It gives a lot of visibility, and you can really participate in the discussion at the European level. Angela Pereira, now the same question to you. What is the objective of the participation with the project Biodiversities at the Euroregions Week?
Well, first I'd like to give a little preamble. I mean, there is a lot of political momentum and genuine interest around the engagement of citizens in policymaking. We all know this. The sixth priority of the Commission on new push on new democracy has made this commitment very high in the agenda. You just talked about the conference on the future of Europe, but there is also the European Democracy Action Plan. Your DG is doing participatory work on cohesion funds, and it's being experimented at least in 4 EU regions, besides all the already existing deliberative practices in several member states. We just launched a new competence center in the Commission on participatory and deliberative democracy. And so, I mean, this is gaining a lot of traction, and we are actually walking the talk, no? But what is interesting is that not many people are questioning anymore why we should extend our democracies to encompass these deliberative practices, but much rather the how. And this is why this session is important, because it not only showcases the how, but also reflects on the institutional barriers and on the conditions that enable institutionalizing participatory process. So we have designed this session to be actually participatory and creative. We will focus on 2 questions. What's the challenge? And what needs to be done to overcome it? We are particularly interested on the institutional challenges to advance participatory and deliberative practices at local level. So we are seeking very practical answers to help mainstreaming these processes at local level. So that's why you should be in our session.
Thank you. Now we have prepared some more detailed and tailored questions for each of you. Who can I start with? We stay with you, Angela. What are the costs of excluding citizens from this kind of participatory initiatives?
Look, I would say in a nutshell that this is a matter of survival. And I'm not talking about our institutions and democracies. I am talking about human survival. I think there is plenty of examples out there on why it is crucial to engage citizens on the matters that affect them or the matters that they care about, that we care about. The first thing to know is, as a branch of science has been telling us for some decades, normal science and science and technology studies, is that citizens have resources that need to be mobilized to address the challenges of our times. So there is no single body of knowledge that can address, say, climate change, pandemic, food security, etc. So we all have different types of knowledge that can contribute to address these challenges. At local level, especially, we have the experience of people with space, with living in that space, the values we and probably if we are there for a long time, our families that we have been living by, and we have ideas on what the actual problems are. So we are better placed to frame the problems very often at regional and local level. And also we have ideas how to respond to those challenges. So I would say that we need the knowledge and we need that local commitment, because if we do not extend to everybody the resolution of the problems we face, we really risk what is called the type 2 error, to resolve the wrong problem.
And I've seen also some more and more exercises of this kind, pilot projects organized even by some colleagues here from DG Regio in recent years, focusing on the good governance and the management of EU funds in different realities across the EU. And it's indeed a good way to make institutions more accountable, more transparent, and more present on the ground. So indeed, this is the way to go. Thank you. And now for Sally, I'll pass to you. What is the role of the knowledge mobilization and the regional research and development for the future of the EU?
So I think at the moment we're living in a time of disinformation and fake news. We've got populist shifts. Social media is very important, and we're seeing some of the results of these shifts in terms of vaccine hesitancy and vaccine resistance. I think most of us would agree that the safest and the best policy decisions should be empirically grounded. So they're based on the research on the challenge, consideration of the options, testing of methods, evaluation of the results, and new and imaginative thinking that follows on from that process. We think that the global impact of COVID will have a shadow effect over European citizens for many, many years to come. The pressure is certainly on the policymakers to chart a course through to recovery, but not only dealing with the economic and social recovery from COVID, we also will need to balance with climate change, geopolitical shifts, and issues around inclusion, diversity and equality. If there was ever a time for us to try and melt away the barriers between the research and policy world and the world of the practitioners and policy world, then that time is surely now. We think that the EU Regions Week actually offers a unique opportunity, partly in its scale, for offering cross-sector sharing, for conversations, for new learning, for testing new ideas for implementation. So I'd like to thank the Commission for this opportunity and for our opportunity to engage in it. Thank you.
And we thank you for coming to the Regions Week, prepared to teach how to communicate research results to policymakers and helping shape public policies with facts and products of your research. So now I'll pass to Angela from the Transform Project. How do you convince citizens to participate in such an exercise? I'm taking the case of your project. And how do you make it as inclusive as possible?
This is a tricky question, not because there is no actions or methodologies or processes to invite citizens. It's not a matter of convincing them, I think. Because in our case, in our project, we have different methodologies, different type of citizen engagement. And so this entails to have also different way to invite citizens to be part of the journey. Because we are implementing citizen science processes or deliberative democracies, as in our case in Lombardy. And in deliberation, it's very used the random sampling. So you have a direct invitation to citizens to be in the process, to be part of the activity. So we mix different approach, also through communication campaign on social media, on the web, on using mouth to mouth in order to spread the word about the event and the workshop that we are preparing for engaging citizens in our activities. But I think that most important result, that once citizens know that there is this opportunity, they are really glad to be in these processes. And once they have started the process, they are enthusiastic to be on board. So the problem is not to convince them. They really would like to have a seat on the table of the decision making. The problem, the issues, is to provide more seats for citizens. So this is what we have to do: provide opportunity and provide seats around the table of decision making for citizens.
Okay, thank you, and congratulations again for being part of this frontrunner project. Now, my dear guest speakers, is the time to end this beautiful chat we had with you. Thank you for your participation. Now I will pass the floor to Betty to draw the final conclusions, and I wish you the best of luck in the preparation of your sessions for this 19th edition of the week.
Thank you so much also on my side. Thank you, our three guests for today. Thank you, Manu, for leading them through our questions. And thank you, our viewers, who spent the past 20 minutes with us. I have to say, I am genuinely intrigued in everything that we discussed today. So I can't wait to find out more in your sessions. And I believe our viewers feel the same. And in case they do, they can browse through all the program and register for your sessions, also in our app. See, I have it too. Or by clicking the link in the description of this video. So thank you very much. And I can't wait to see you again in the next episode of Coffee with Partners.
Bye.
Thank you.